Welcome to Real Country Jukebox. This is a little bit of a milestone for us because it's episode number 20. And today is our pre-July 4th celebration. We want to talk about patriotic songs. These songs could also be used at Memorial Day or any Veterans Day. They can be used at any of these holidays, but this is the first patriotic holiday we've had where we've been doing the podcast. So we're excited about doing a July 4th episode and talking about some patriotic music. Welcome to Real Country Jukebox. This is Raymond and James.
What's going on, man?
Not much, buddy.
I'm very excited about this because I take July 4th, and my three most favorite holidays is July 4th, Easter, and Father's Day. So I'm crossing another one off my list here. I love July 4th, man. It means so much to me to be American.
It does to me too, man. I'm thankful for it.
Me too.
And I've heard you mention that before about Easter. I've heard you mention several times how Easter is your favorite holiday, and what a better holiday to have. But today we are talking about July 4th, so we're going to talk about some songs. I want to say one thing right from the get-go. There's a lot of really popular 9/11 songs, and that's not what this is about. This is about America and July 4th patriotic songs. But Darryl Worley came out with one of the big 9/11 songs, Have You Forgotten, back in 2003. And as of today, it dropped this morning. He dropped a re-release, same tune and everything, so it's called Have We Forgotten. And he dropped that today. So I'm saying that, and we'll talk about that a little bit as the podcast goes on. But y'all give it a listen. I don't see how anybody can not like that song. It's not divisive or anything like that. But I love the original better, and I like what he says in that one. But nonetheless, it's a very good song, and it was a good time to drop it.
Yeah, I ended up getting busy this afternoon and forgot to listen to it, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be a good ride home song.
That's okay. It ain't going nowhere.
You want to start us off?
I can. If we're going to do that, I can go ahead and start talking about that song. And I'll talk about both of them. Have You Forgotten, I've mentioned it before, of the 9/11 songs, Have You Forgotten is my favorite. I thought it's kind of in your face, but I thought it was not a derogatory thing. I thought it was in your face enough to get a point across, because sometimes there's a time where you have to be mean, but it wasn't disrespectful. It was just to the point, and I didn't think that song was divisive. But anyway, now he's come out with Have We Forgotten that came out today, and basically it's a look back. This is why I said I don't think anybody can really disagree with it. It's a look back at where we were, because after all that stuff happened, we were very united. I mean, red, blue, Democrat, Republican, whatever, everybody was just united because we had a common enemy, and everybody's hearts were going out. Everybody had a big heart to what was going on and everything. And this song, Have We Forgotten, you have to listen to it for yourself, but he's hitting at the division in America and talking about, remember how united we were then. Look how far we've come in 20 years, and not for the good. There's a lot of things that we know what we used to be and we know what we can be, and it's just very well written, talking about where we need to be again, and soon.
Yeah, and I know I said this on the podcast in the past, back when we had the black screen when we first started, but One of my favorite lines of that song is, if it was up to me, I show it every day, because what he's getting at is, and this is important, it's sad, but obviously people haven't forgotten the event, but they've forgotten how they felt during the event.
Well said.
And then there's a lot of people that are alive today that are 20 years old, over 20, that weren't even born then. They didn't get a chance to experience it. Like, I mean, I definitely I take that very serious, and I feel like it it would unite the nation really if people did think about the times that we've all been like hurt together.
That's exactly right.
So, my number one, this isn't my favorite song up here, but I have it as my first one because ever since I was a little kid, something about it I just love. And it's the simplest song on this list. It's not very in your face at all. Matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. And it's America by Waylon Jennings. And it's very just, the song to me symbolizes America, how I feel like if you cut off the TV, then it's what America really is. Like, there's a couple different lines in that song, where he talks about, like, I'm from Tennessee, but the people in California are nice to me, stuff like that. Because when TV will lead you to believe that people that don't live like you do live wrong, where sometimes it's a select few and the majority of them don't.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I traveled for 5 years all over the country, and it's one of the best things that's ever happened to my life, because I was able to see that
see firsthand.
Yeah, and I mean, and for the most part, not every single person I met, but every single place I went, there was at least one individual there, and for the most part, several that really invited me to their home, invited me to pool parties, to Buffalo Wild Wings, watch UFC fights. I mean, just fishing, whatever you could think of. There's a lot of people out there that live just like you do, we do, whatever, and TV just will not allow you to see that.
That's exactly right.
And another thing too, like
news stations build off drama.
Yeah, so I love it. I mean, and then where he was talking about in the song, like we're all brothers and stuff like that, and I believe that too. And the news will lead you to believe that everyone has to be exactly the same. No, you can be completely different and still be a brother. Like, not have nothing in common, but know that person will come help you fix a flat tire at 1 a.m. if you call them.
Right.
Because they're a great individual.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be into the exact same thing they are.
Right.
And when I listen to that song, that's what I pick up on. And to hear it come from a guy like Waylon, it's to me, it's never more true coming from him than a lot of people, because he's so blunt.
Yeah.
In a lot of situations. But yeah, that song to me symbolizes America 100%.
And Raymond is a prime example of knowing different cultures and seeing how you could be from California, like Waylon mentioned that song. You can be in California, from North Carolina, Oregon, Tennessee, wherever. And there's some people that may never ever been where you're at, and you've never been where they're at, but have so many similarities and live their life the same way and have the same heart and all that sort of stuff. There's people just like you everywhere. And I'm going to piggyback on something else about that song. What's funny is I was listening to that on the way over here, and that's not a joke.
Really?
I was listening to that song on the way over here.
That's awesome.
Because I was thinking about this podcast. And that also reminds me, like in the early days of CMT, when CMT first started, that Waylon Jennings America video, I still see the two kids, the white kid and the black kid playing football.
Oh, really?
But it's funny, man, because that's one of the first videos I ever saw on CMT, back when CMT was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know that there was commercials. It was just CMT, 24 hours a day, videos.
Yeah.
Those were the good days of TV country music.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, that's a great choice, and I had that one on my list, but you covered. I couldn't have said it any better than you did.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I've got some friends out in West Texas that may watch these. I know that they do like the page on Facebook, but when I got to West Texas, it was completely different than what I thought it was going to be. It was almost like I was in Mexico, and within 2 weeks, I had several friends, and we would it was right in the middle of football season. We were all Cowboy fans. We were going to different places and watching games and stuff. I mean, it was just a blast, and I still consider those people my friends.
Yeah.
It's to the point like where we might not have a whole lot in common, but it's kind of like if I text one and say, "Hey man, I'm seriously down on my luck, can I get $100?" I really feel like in 3 days I get that in the mail.
Sure you would.
I mean, there's people all over the country that are just awesome folks, and the media just won't let you see that. And
yeah.
It's so disturbing, really.
It is. POW 369, while I'm talking about Darryl Worley. Doug Stone also covered this song, but I believe Darryl Worley wrote it, and it's a Darryl Worley song. POW 369, it's a really good song. It has a special message that's patriotic and not patriotic. He's talking about, like the opening line, as I was flying down the highway, weaving in and out of traffic, I was racing time. This old man pulled out in front of me. I went crazy as can be. I lost my mind and just blowing on the horn, fussing at this guy. And we've all done that. I'm definitely guilty. We've all done that. And then he said he blew the horn till he got close enough to see what was on his car tag. Sure convicted him. And the car tag said POW 369. And come to find out, this guy had been through the trenches. 18 years old, he left home, and all he's ever done is fight. And he had, I'm sure, PTSD and everything else that these type of guys get from those situations. And there's a lesson learned from that. It's a really good song. But that goes for anything, and we're all guilty. Like I said, I'll be the first one to say I'm guilty. You get mad at somebody in traffic, or mad at somebody at this, or mad at somebody about this, and you have no idea what that person's going through that day. So it's kind of a patriotic lesson about a guy that's a prisoner of war, but it's also a life lesson that, and I'm talking to myself too, you need to ease up. You don't know what this person's going through.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't ever heard that song, but I definitely want to. That song is something I love. My next one's "Don't Give Us a Reason" by Hank Jr. That's very in your face, pro America, go out and get them type song. That whole album, I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about the song because the whole album is just, in my opinion, it's one of the greatest country albums of all time. Country as in country music, country as in America.
Yeah,
it's called America the Way I See It, and that is in my top 3 favorite Hank Williams Jr. albums ever. But yeah, it's "Don't Give Us a Reason." Go check it out.
That's probably my favorite Hank Jr. album. And he even calls out Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
I mean, you can name drop when it's about stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
You heard at the top of the program, it was kind of our intro coming on this show this week. God Bless the USA is pretty much a standard for all kind of patriotic holidays. But it's some more lighthearted, getting away from some of the other stuff. It's some more lighthearted. Pretty much the song just depicts different parts of the country, kind of like, you were saying, traveling and stuff like that. But I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died. It's just basic, but yet that's one of those songs that is just as true now as it was in 1985 or whenever it came out. And I don't understand. We've gotten to the point sometimes where some people aren't proud to be an American. You should be proud to be an American regardless of what side you stand on, because this is still the greatest country in the world. It needs a lot of help, but we should all be proud to be an American. That's just, that if you think of Lee Greenwood, that's what you think of.
Yeah, I had that on my list too. And it's funny you said that, man, because we went to a festival last Saturday, and nobody even knew they were going to do the national anthem. None of that stuff that I'm aware of. I didn't know. But the band was playing regular songs, and they're about 300 yards from me. I could barely hear them. But, we were in the snow cone line, actually. And right in the middle of ordering my snow cones, national anthem started. I found a flag right then. Me and my family stopped, saluted till the song was over. The people behind me, some of them did, some of them didn't. Unfortunately, some of them act like that the decision between the 2 flavors, grape or cherry, was a bigger deal than saluting the flag. But that's on them. I'm gonna stand for it every time, even if I'm in my own living room by myself and a game comes on, because that's just what you should do.
I 100% agree, and I'm always gonna do that too.
Yeah, same. So, and it's like I've said before, regardless of how you feel about the country in general, this is still the greatest country in the world. If you don't believe it, if you've got running water, go flush your toilet, because the water that comes in there from the well is cleaner than what some people's drinking water are in other countries.
Right.
And I just feel like, that people aren't proud enough to be from here.
100% agreed, man. I couldn't have said that better.
My next song is "USA Today" by Hank Williams Jr. And it's on that same album, and it's a little bit more softer song. He addresses a lot of the problems of the nation, from drug dealers pushing drugs on kids and stuff like that. But then he starts to talk about the good things of it, how we have more homes than we do homeless, and stuff like that. And the part where it says you won't see no refugees heading the other way, that's the truth. People never clear fences and jump walls to get out of the country, but they do it to get in. That should tell you something. People want to be here because they know it's the best place on earth.
That's correct. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Actually, this is more recent. Brad Paisley did a song. It's probably been 5-6 years ago now, called "Country Nation," and I like that because it hits. It checks a lot of boxes to me. It's if you ever heard "40 Hour Week" by Alabama, which talks about, which is more of a song about the working man, but it hits America, what America's supposed to be, as well, as far as the workforce and that nature. But "Country Nation" by Brad Paisley, it's kind of like a modern day 40-hour week. It's hitting that, it's checking that box, but it's also talking about just the different parts of the country, and just talking about the country in general. And it hits sports. The video has the Ramses and the Duke Blue Devil, and probably even has the ECU Pirate in there. It has just about every mascot you can think of just running around a field or whatnot. But to me, that's just a really cool song. It's just a good, if you close your eyes and listen to that song for about 4 minutes, you're picturing America the way you want to see it and the way that it can be again.
Yeah, that's right. I've got "The Fight Inside Me" by Merle Haggard. I think that's a that's a great song in general. I mean, if you haven't heard it, shame on you. You should check it out. Look, matter of fact, stop the podcast right now and listen to it.
I'm gonna hit on Aaron Tippin a little bit, and this one's more lighthearted too, but just it depicts everything that you enjoy about this country as well. As the one he came out probably a couple years after all the 9/11 songs, where the stars and stripes and eagle fly. That's a beautiful depiction of the flag and the eagle in our country and all the, you know, points of America that are kind of symbols that make America so great that sometimes we take for granted.
Yeah, that is a great song, man. My next one is "Only in America" by Brooks and Dunn, and that song kind of came out after they had fell off a little bit too. It kind of brought them back. It was used for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was.
I believe it's even been used in like president, you know, where they're doing their speeches and stuff. I think they've used that before.
Probably so. And I like that song a lot too, man, because it reminds me. I mean, I'm a Southerner tried and true, but I like to visit New York. Now, 4 or 5 days max is all I want out there. I'm not knocking New York, but 4 or 5 days is all I want out of it. But that song reminds me of America, but also, you know, sun's coming up over New York City, so that starts right out. I like going to New York, man, like I said, for 4 or 5 days at a time, and just so many of the good restaurants. I'm a Yankees fan, but I'll go see anybody play baseball. The baseball stadiums, the restaurants, Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, just everything about now the 9/11 Memorial and everything. Just it reminds me of New York a lot. I mean, I didn't start going to New York, and I think the first time I ever went was 06 or 07, and I've probably been 5 or 6 times total now. But I love going out there for, like I said, 3 to 5 days max. You can hop on a train in Rocky Mount and go for less than $100. It's just go at midnight and you sleep the whole way there. Then you get up and you're wide awake when you get to New York. It's just a beautiful place to visit. Like I said, I would never live there, but I love visiting. Between the food and the historic landmarks and sports, it's a great place to visit, man. That song, I know that was getting away from America a little bit, but New York's part of America. So it's just, and I mean, you need to go see the Statue of Liberty at least once in your life if you don't see anything else in New York.
No, I agree with you, and I agree with everything, well, for the most part, everything you said. I'm not a fan
everything except the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any New York sports team at all. But the funny thing is, you know, I can't speak for California. I've never been there. But a lot of the places that seem to catch a lot of, you know, you assume that Southern people don't like going. I love New York. I love Philadelphia. I love Chicago, all those places. But the funny thing about New York is, I've never been more than like 4 days. Well, I worked in upstate New York for a while, but I've never been to New York City longer than about 4 days at a time. But while I was there, every time I loved it the whole time.
Good.
I mean, there was like
4 days is a good window.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because you're in a tourist area or what, but a lot of the now this was pre-2020, but a lot of the flack that New York gets, I didn't see it. And another thing too, we went in the wintertime, and all I had with me was a pair of boots, jeans, and a camo coat, and like nobody looked at me like I was out of place at all. I think there's so much about like be who you are, that it's be who you are, period. Even if you do dress like you're going hunting up there.
Yeah.
About the Statue of Liberty. Same thing for Philadelphia. When I ran the Rocky Steps, I was wearing cowboy boots and a daggone camo coat. I mean, you know, I think that a lot of times TV persuades you to think otherwise.
It does. And, you know, talking about that, I mean, you can say this is getting off America, but we're talking about places in America, so this is part of it too. I like New York City a lot. Now, I did not care for Philadelphia. Now, I did care for the Rocky Steps. I did go up those, and I did care for, I think I went to where Mick's Gym was and where Adrian's Pet Shop was and all that sort of stuff from the Rocky movie, the Rocky statue. I enjoyed seeing all that because Rocky's just awesome.
Yeah.
Went over by the alleyway where, you know, he fought Tommy Morrison in that 5th one. You know, tried knocking him down, but you tried knocking me down now.
This ain't no paid contest.
Right. That's a terrible impersonation. But anyway, seeing all those places were cool, and now I'm good. That's nothing against you people that's from Philadelphia. I mean, there's different strokes for different folks, but I didn't really care for that place. But I love New York, and to be honest with you, the 2 times I went to California, I loved it. But I was in the southern part, like L.A., Venice Beach, that type of area, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
But I'm a movie film location buff, so I was going to see all the places where they filmed Back to the Future, so I would love it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. What you got next?
Jason Aldean, Flyover States. I think that's pretty cool. Seeing the country and how beautiful it is, and farmers and wheat fields and just everything you see from an airplane. Well, till you get up into the clouds. But when I think of patriotic songs, I think about Flyover States by Jason Aldean.
Man, until this is no lie, until Round Here Buzz came out in 2015, that era time, Flyover States had been my favorite song since I started traveling. Because I had lived at all those places except for the Badlands. That's the only spot.
Okay, yeah.
All the other
it's kind of biographical for you.
Yeah, all the other places I lived in, I knew exactly what he was referring to. So yeah, I love that song, man. My next was courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, the Angry American. I love that song. That song gets me so pumped up.
You pumped up right now thinking about it, ain't
you? I feel like, man, when I hear Angry American, like, I got like a bald eagle on my shoulder. You know what I mean? And that's the way we wanted to start this podcast, but the guy that had the eagle canceled on me.
He's always doing stuff like that, man.
But anyway.
David Ball, Riding with Private Malone. Checks a lot of boxes, too. It's a good story song about, somebody going and buying a car and not knowing exactly, what that car meant to somebody and what that car had been through. One of those things, the whole deal about Private Malone being in service and all that sort of stuff is a great story. And just, David Ball's kind of a hidden gem, man. To me, I don't know why David Ball didn't make it bigger. He came out the gate like fire, and he pretty much stuck with the same thing he always did. Good ballads, too. But anyway, getting back to Riding with Private Malone, I believe that was his last #1 hit. And it's just a good song of patriotism and a good song about a soldier and a story and just, kind of a tearjerker a little bit, but in a good way.
Yeah, I love stories that have endings like that, too.
Yeah.
My next one's Ragged Old Flag by Johnny Cash. I consider it a song, but he's kind of talking more or less throughout the whole thing. He's just telling a story about, a particular flag. Well, the American flag, obviously, but a particular one and all the different things he had been through the wars that he's seen, all this different stuff, and about how he's so proud that represents where he's from. And I believe Waylon did it, too. I just used the Johnny Cash one. It's a little bit more popular.
Yeah. Another one that I love, and I've heard several people cover it, is Charlie Daniels in America. I like, did you ever think that it ever would happen again in America, did you? Did you ever think we'd get together again? It's such a cool song, man. Charlie Daniels did a lot of that stuff early in his career. And I was at the Wild Horse one night, back when Chris Cagle was big, and Chris Cagle covered that song. And then I've heard Eric Church cover it. And it's just a very high energy, that one might get me pumped up like Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue gets you pumped up.
Yeah.
So maybe if we listen to those at the same time, we'd probably be bouncing off the walls and trees or whatever. But anyway, I had to mention that song because I think it's super cool.
Yeah, it is a good one.
And I think Charlie Daniels is super cool.
I got it on my list.
And I think you're super cool.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I could almost see if Charlie Daniels was still here with us, I could see like a Charlie Daniels, Raymond Gardner presidential 2024. I'd only be vice president of Charlie though. I got Some Gave All by Billy Ray Cyrus. It's very seldom that I'm gonna give Billy Ray Cyrus any credit, to be honest with you. Some Gave All, I don't know how you couldn't give that song credit.
Really good song.
It's so deep, and it's about unfortunately, the ones that didn't make it back to us. Which also, with that being said, I thought about the ones that didn't make it back home by Justin Moore. That just popped in my head.
And probably talking about Some Gave All, probably really lyrically the best song he ever did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
I would say so. It's a whole lot better than the one where he's got the horses in the back or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
Me neither. Let's see, Stars and Stripes. It's America by Rodney Atkins. I heard that one at Busch Gardens the other day. As I was leaving, fireworks were going off. They had fireworks.
That kind of seems familiar, but I honestly don't know if I've heard it. I'll have to.
Man.
I may have once it gets going. So many songs with America in the title, you can get them confused.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he starts out talking about the little kids selling lemonade or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I love
I'm sure
that
I have somewhere.
The last one I have is Made in America by Toby Keith. I actually like it better than the Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue that swept my eyes.
You gonna get pumped again?
Man, You know, with the part where he says,
It's 117 degrees out here, y'all.
The part where he says, every day's Independence Day. I love that part. You know, it's a great song, man. And to me, Toby Keith's work, his best work is his American songs.
Yeah, he's got a knack for that, man. And I like them all.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about everyday Independence Day. I mean, that's a good one to finish with if that's because I mean that's what this whole holiday is about.
I know.
So.
That's the thing, man. We've done this whole podcast. I can hardly even hear you. Over all this freedom.
I like that shirt too, by the way.
Thanks.
Don't he have a cool shirt, y'all?
But anyway, well, that's about all we have for today. We hope y'all get a chance to see some fireworks and grill some hot dogs and listen to some Real Country Jukebox. Please like, share, subscribe, and that's all I've got for today.
Yeah, and whatever y'all do out there, wherever you're going, wherever you're traveling, seriously, all jokes aside, be safe. I know everybody says that, but be safe and be responsible as well. And I hope everybody has a great time. And happy 4th and happy America.
All right, God bless.